Tuesday, 1st of July, 2014, at 7:01 p.m. I'd like to call a meeting of the regular Board of Trustees for the Village of North Hudson to order. Invocation. Dear Lord, we ask your guidance for this august body, and we ask that you watch over and take care of your country, your family, that we may have a safe and festive Independence Day celebration this year. And we ask you to give guidance to those elected, that they may lead this country in the greatness that it has been in the history. So we thank you. Roll call, please.
Trustee Anderson,
Present.
Head,
Present.
Brian Berglund,
Here.
Brody,
Here.
Standiford,
Here.
President Wecken,
Here.
Trustee Zappa.
Yep.
Okay, second item on the agenda, review and approve minutes from the regular board meeting of 3 June 2014.
I'll move to approve the minutes from the board meeting from June 3rd,
Thank you,
2014.
Colleen. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ted. Any discussion or amendments?
I did notice one typo under the Personnel and Finance Committee recommendation, where it says purchase of table for village administrator. Should be tablet.
Thank you, Colleen. Okay, any other corrections? Duly noted. All in favor of the minutes with the correction of the typo signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Comments from the floor. This is an opportunity for residents to make the board aware of topics, issues, opportunities, either on or not on today's agenda. And we see Krista's here, so she's on the agenda, so we'll, if nothing else, we'll go move on to item number 4. This is proclamation naming July 12 through 20, 2014, St. Croix River Awareness and Cleanup Week. Approval requested. There are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 whereas, 7 whereases, and it is basically to recognize the great resource we have as the St. Croix River, and it encompasses 760 square miles, over 24 major sub-watersheds and hundreds of smaller direct tributaries straddling the Minnesota-Wisconsin border. So now, therefore, I, Stan Wecken, by virtue of the authority vested in me as village president of the Village of North Hudson, do hereby proclaim the week of July 12 through 20, 2014, as St. Croix River Awareness and Cleanup Week, and encourage everyone to celebrate and to engage in the voluntary cleanup of the riverbank litter. The actual cleanup date, Colleen, is what,
The 15th.
the 15th. It's a Tuesday,
Tuesday.
and that starts at
What was
Noon?
it, 10 till noon. There'll be more information on that on the St. Croix Riverfest.org website, because we were waiting a little bit to see for the water to go
yeah, if
down.
the water goes down,
to,
we won't have nothing to clean up.
Yeah, or there'll be a lot to clean up if it does go down.
Yeah.
So that is
Okay, so there will be
9 a.m. till noon.
9 a.m. till noon, and that will be we'll have information on our website too.
Well, yeah, we can put it on our website as well.
Okay,
Otherwise, St. Croix Riverfest.org will have updates.
all right. StCroixRiverCrest.org. Thank you. All in favor of the proclamation signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item number 5. Request to use Chief Jantz Memorial Park outside of park hours. Approval requested. Now, This is, everybody, if you looked at the packets, it's been requested by Krista, who is here, who is part of TrueMe Hudson. It's an exercise program. Krista, if you would you like to come up to the mic and state who you are, and just what the request is and what you've got going on?
Sure.
Gives you a chance to, advertise business.
All right. Okay. Is it on now, or do I not need to use
think
it, or can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. So I'm Krista Bergman, and I started TrueMe training in Hudson about a month ago now. My first course officially launches on July 7th. So up till now, I've been offering kind of trial sessions for people to come check it out and see what the program's all about. Some of the big things with the program is about creating a community of people. So I've been going door to door, basically, meeting neighbors, meeting people in the community, and inviting them to come try the workouts. So there's a fitness component of it, and then there's also a nutritional component, and then it's the accountability with the workouts with me, and then to the other people in the group as well. So a lot of what I'm doing is going to be trying to get out more in the community, getting involved more in some charities and some events that are happening in North Hudson and Hudson. So the course runs Monday through Thursday, and I'm offering my participants a 6 a.m. option is what most of them are interested in. So as you know, the Chief Jansen Memorial Park doesn't open till 8:30. So I've been offering the trial sessions down at Lakefront Park because that park opens at 6 o'clock. So as my program expands, I'll be offering a 9 a.m. option as well.
And you're going to be in there 4 days a week?
Yep, Monday through Thursday.
Okay, at 6 a.m.
Yep,
Okay.
I would like to be, yeah. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Mr. President, I have a couple of questions. Do you want me to address them to the chair or to the applicant?
You certainly can address whoever you choose to address, Darrell. I mean,
Well, normally under Robert's rules, I would address them to you,
address the
but
chair. That is, you certainly.
I'm absolutely not opposed to this. But I assume that this is a for-profit business,
Is correct.
Yep.
and that being the case, I am a little uncomfortable with a for-profit business being granted permission to hold an event for which a fee would be paid to a for-profit business in one of the public parks. The highlighted section indicates that we may give permission to a specific group or individual for civic or recreational purposes. Again, I want to stress, I'm not opposed to this applicant or the business. I wish the business great success. I only, in the big picture, am questioning whether we should, as a matter of policy, enable a for-profit business to use the park in that manner.
So,
Well, during business hours, she can use it.
Right.
You're saying
Well-
we don't make special rules for a for-profit business. Am I right in saying that?
if she's going up there in normal park hours, she's gonna
That's
have
fine.
to come to the board and ask us for permission.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I don't think.
I don't know. That's a gray area to me.
we've talked to legal and, and our insurance, and, the part of the, and it's part of the discussion, and the same questions I had is, all right, liability wise, and Krista has responded that she does have insurance, but our legal, or our insurance folks said that they would defend the village, but they requested the certification from the party that requires a $1 million limit of liability, and also asked that the village would be added as additional insured. Also with the for-profit business, I mean, if you're using the parks for that, I think it sets a precedent that, it would set a precedent if we don't, since it is a for-profit business, we're giving them a venue basically free of rent, where we could have, if there would, some recommendation for a possible fee to the business to use the park. Now, I don't know if we can do.
Mr. President, I was not advocating that we charge a fee.
Right.
My only concern is if this permission is granted, and if this body determines that it does in fact meet the definition of a civic or recreational purpose, then 2 months from now, when another for-profit business comes and wants permission either to use that park or the village property,
Right.
we have established a precedent
Exactly.
that we're going to grant that.
Right.
And again, don't misunderstand, I'm not opposed to you or this business. I just want to be very clear that we've got our eyes open, and we're not going to find ourselves on a slippery slope.
Right. No, I
So
agree.
let's give a scenario that if she came in and she applied for, to say that she wanted to reserve the pavilion for her group, and she paid the fee for that, are you saying because it's a business, she wouldn't be able to do that?
What's our definition for the renting of the pavilion?
Well, I,
Let's-
And
Because-
I'm not certain it's germane, because we're talking about Chief Jansen Park, and here is the language that relates to that.
So what legal said,
well, it relates to all of our parks and our pavilions, I'm assuming.
Well, do we rent the pavilion, or can someone just request to use it?
We
Rent.
rented.
Okay,
Like,
there's a form. It's $25 fee plus 75 deposit plus $1.38 tax if they were going to, that's a resident charge.
Okay, but we don't rent Chief Jansen Park.
We'd rent
Yes.
the pavilions to the park, so they have,
we do now, because they have bathrooms, and Ferry Landing, right, Melissa? We started. Right. And I'm just using that as an example, just to get, to make the point. The other thing that Melissa and I were discussing, and Melissa brought up, when a person comes up there with the daycare kids, and they're playing, and she's making money, they're playing, I don't know.
dog walkers, fireworks.
We don't have control over that. And we don't charge people fees for all of that stuff. So,
Well,
that's the other side of it.
right?
Presumably, the only reason you'd want to reserve the pavilion is if it's going to be a busy holiday, and there might not be, or there will be other people there. She's going to be at 6 in the morning, there's not going to be anybody there.
If we open up the parks at 6 AM across the board, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Exactly, and my other point I was going to make is, how do we determine what the opening date or time of the park is? How did 8:30 become the time when Hudson's
Yeah.
at 6?
Do you know?
Yeah, I
You don't know?
North Hudson
I would
Salute.
say is, I would try to get the park, do you live in North Hudson here?
Yeah, I live on 10th Street North.
I would
She's a
come
couple
to the
blocks
I'd
here.
come to the park board meetings to get the board to open, or the park board to open the parks at 6 AM, and I wouldn't even pursue this, just open them up at 6 AM and then go from there.
So with that being said, is that still an issue?
It wouldn't be an issue, because who's gonna patrol it? Who's gonna look at it?
I guess that's what a couple of my participants brought up. They're like, we go in the park all the time before
Yeah.
8:30. So, they didn't understand why they had to drive down to Lakefront Park. to
Yeah,
go.
names, the chief is interested in names.
She's like, awesome.
I mean, none
It's
of
a
my
revenue we can
Can't be a
get.
dog catcher, but he can keep people out of the parks.
But see, that's a good point, though,
It's-
Paul. You should just solicit to have the park open
Well, got issues here.
before 8.
I don't think it'd be that hard. I
Okay.
really don't. Open the parks across the board at
Want to put
6
that on your
AM.
agenda?
You're gonna be talking to her.
Yeah, we can put that on the
Put that on your
agenda.
agenda. Can you put that on your agenda?
We can put that on
Well-
our agenda.
The problem
When
is
is
gonna
that?
be the timing. Is that correct? When did you?
She wants to start the 7th. We could certainly, if everybody would be in favor of this, we could certainly have you know,
Temporary.
have the exception for July, August type thing set up, and then
Come
try
back
to,
to the
then have it come back through park board, because, you know, it is business, it is local, and, you know, valid points, or, yeah, other folks that use the parks that are getting paid for and stuff like that. The part that, you know, since you have petition and stuff like that, and you have the insurance, you're okay, I mean, to be able to have this kind of insurance deal, or,
Yep, and I don't know if you need it, I brought my policy, and I looked online, all I have to do is click add, and I can add, additional share to the policy,
okay?
so.
Maybe
Yeah.
now Terry's here, you can address
Well, Terry, you made it
maybe
ahead
now
of
Terry's
schedule,
here,
I
you
know.
can address that.
President?
Any
I don't think this.
further discussion?
It's not on the agenda.
Thanks, chief.
Mark, you don't have to open restrooms or any of that kind of stuff early, they're open 24/7?
The only thing, only expense I can see by changing would be all the signage.
Oh, yeah. Or
That'd
just,
be the one you have to carry in the cart or the sign or anything else.
we got wood putty. I got wood putty. Okay, so. We have a motion in here.
So I think, Daryl, to address your concern, right, they would still, well, I don't know, though, if you go
It's not
for
gonna be a
6
concern
AM,
for
it won't
2
be an
months.
issue, yeah.
Yeah, I guess that, after I read that, that would eliminate that.
Says,
Wouldn't be a concern in 2 months.
If the hours were changed, it would be within those hours, and then that would be an issue, correct?
if we change the hours.
Right.
Krista,
Right.
was there any,
Well, if we change the hours, we may hear from some people that live
Next
adjacent to a park
Yeah,
that says, I'm not so certain I want noise out in the park at 6 AM.
I was just gonna inquire if she'd talked to the neighbors that are adjacent to the park.
I haven't, no, but I can.
They're probably more concerned about the trucks running through Zappa's land back there than
Let's see if they come to the
People in
park
the
board meeting,
park.
see if they come to this meeting.
The motorcycles.
they're not complaining about them, I don't.
okay, so we don't have a recommended motion for
No,
this.
so you're gonna ask for a motion, we're not gonna say anything, it's gonna kind of,
Well, there wasn't. I don't think there was a motion to begin
Well,
with.
there wasn't a motion, there wasn't a motion.
It was just a-
So we have,
request. You guys see how we were trying to say, right? I'll come to the park.
Maybe
Yeah, when is that?
The
with the current
14th,
park
at
times
6:30 PM?
in the agenda or the board packet.
Yep.
There's that section right there. She's not a civic or a
recreation.
recreation. Is that?
Sort of recreational, isn't it? I mean, isn't it exercise
Pardon?
classes or something?
She's makes a profit from it. I mean, it is a business. So is that,
Are we saying that recreation can't be profit or can't be business?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you.
We're splitting hairs over something.
You
that
would
should be
need-
simple.
Yeah, I'm prepared to support this.
There you
I
go.
just wanted to,
I think it could. So I think
there's some
that
slippery slope issues here I just wanted us to be aware of.
an ambiguous term in an ordinance, if the board comes to an agreement on what that means, that is presumptively correct, the correct definition of that word. So whether, if our recreation includes it's a recreational purpose, whether it's a business purpose or not, that's a fine interpretation. If you want to go a different way, you can do that too. As long as it's a reasonable interpretation of a potentially ambiguous.
Because I think that considering
Term.
changing park hours, as you mentioned, may be a bigger issue than, that can be solved tonight.
And it will only be while the weather's nice as well. I'll be renting a space with Inspiring Actions Wellness, the yoga studio, over by Fleet Farm once it gets cold. So we'd be looking at, July, August, September.
You could grant permission for just these 3 months, see how it goes, and if it doesn't go good, don't grant it next year.
Perfect.
Sure.
And that could be
So,
taken care
does there
of.
need to be a motion?
You should have a motion of some sort,
All right.
yeah.
So, I will motion,
Move.
move,
Move to approve?
I will move. I knew he was gonna say it. I will move to approve a 6 AM request by
True me.
True Me to use Chief Jensen Memorial Park for the next 3 months.
That covers your first session of the 12 weeks session, that your course runs 12 weeks. So, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Colleen. Any further discussion?
Question, can we just do it for a year in case the first session goes good, so she doesn't have to come back for this?
Well, but when you're gonna run into wet.
You're not gonna do it in the winter
In the
anyway.
winter, she's gonna be indoors, so I mean, and the sessions run, you're not, or I don't know, you maybe have concurrent 12, 12, 12, 12, or,
What was,
well, I mean, you got a 12-week session
Yep.
is the first one, so that if
Yep.
we go 3 months, that covers July through the end of September.
yep,
So
and
that,
there'd
you
be a week break and then the next 12-week session would start,
okay,
so.
And would that be outdoors as well, or will that one be indoors?
If the weather's nice, we'll try to stay outdoors as much as possible. It just feels a lot better to work out outside and get fresh air. If it's cold and, nasty Wisconsin winter starts in, September, October, we'll probably be inside right away. August, yeah.
you wanna shoot for 4 months, get it through October?
Just do 6, I hear 8, do 6.
Well, I mean-
So I will amend I move to amend my motion to put it at 6 months rather than 4 months.
You okay with that?
Sure.
Withdrawal.
I
Okay,
second.
I can't.
Do you want to add the condition that she has the insurance listed?
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Holy cow, do I have to have another amendment?
You have to move to
There's,
amend your amended movement.
With a $1 million
limit of liability.
and
business
the
liability.
village as an additional insurance.
And the village as an additional insurer.
Yeah. We should be named as an additional insured on your insurance company, on your insurance policy, excuse me.
All right. I'm sure we'll be reading the minutes.
Thank you,
Yes.
Melissa.
And you play Bon Jovi.
I kept trying to get
I
that
will
one
not
out.
approve that one.
While I go past Rod and Ted's house.
So this is a neighborhood
He's not
thing, you
laughing
got 2 on the board, this is going. All right, so,
Just trying to be easy to do business with. Sam,
all
that's all.
in favor of Ted's motion
Are we voting on the amendment?
in a second, the amendment, or I thought he amended the,
Perhaps we should
We
have.
did, but we need to vote on the amendment.
Melissa, will you read the amendment, please?
Amendment is just,
I put it as the one motion. I have motion to approve the request by Krista Bergman with True Me to use Chief Jansen Memorial Park at 6:00 a.m. for the next 6 months with $1 million certificate of liability insurance with the Village of North Hudson listed as additionally insured.
Boom.
What she said.
There was a second down there.
Yep.
with respect to the process of parliamentary procedure, and with all due respect to parliamentary procedure, I believe parliamentary procedure allows, if there's a consensus, if it's clear that nobody is against a motion, which would, like the amendment, for example, that can then move forward to the next, back to the original, that can just be added in, unless there is some objection to doing it that way. If there would be a discussion or, some objection to the amendment, I believe parliamentary procedure does allow that. And the second thing is, if we want to be real strict about parliamentary procedure, we can do that, although I think historically this board has not been overly strict about parliamentary procedure. With all due respect. With all due respect to parliamentary procedure. So I think it would fly just,
I'd wait.
we have the motion in place and we have a consensus on the amendment. I think we could just move forward on what Melissa just said.
Motion's been made and seconded.
Aye.
Ted?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Krista, and good luck. Do you have a lot of people signed up so far?
I have 6 so far,
Okay,
so,
very good.
thank you.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Okay, number 6, temporary class, parent B, parent class B alcohol license, North Hudson Pepper Festival, Inc., August 14, 18, 2014, approval requested.
I'll move to approve the temporary Class B fermented malt beverages and Class B intoxicating liquor license for North Hudson Pepper Festival, Inc., with an effective date of August 14th through August 18th, 2014, as recommended by the village clerk.
Thank you, Colleen. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Paul. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor of the Class B temporary license for Pepper Festival, Inc., signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Oh, I'll do that more exciting, I think. Okay, item number 7, adoption of ordinance 04, 2014, rescinding and recreating chapter 70, offenses and miscellaneous provisions, article 1, in general, section 70-4, discharge of weapons, and section 70-5, carrying concealed weapons, approval requested. Everybody has got the motions of the stuff that's been added and taken out. Does anybody want to make a motion or to the recommendation, or do you feel you have enough information? Is there, maybe we should start out by the chief could
Yeah, for the folks at home.
give us a little background of this for the folks at home?
I can. This was brought to public safety back in May and recommended to go forward to the entire board. Really what this is cleaning up our ordinance. Back in 2009, there was a change or there was an Attorney General's opinion which basically stated that open carry is not in and of itself a crime, it's not disorderly conduct, and there has to be other aspects to that particular action which creates a problem. There were a lot of agencies where we're seeing that if a person carried openly a firearm, that they were in and of itself, that was disorderly conduct, and there were arrests being made. The Attorney General came out with an opinion back in April of 2009 that was not in fact an action which should continue to go forward without some other substantial aspects to it. Then in July of 2011, Act 35 was put into place, which allowed for concealed and carry in Wisconsin. And our ordinance basically had in it verbiage that said, you shall not carry a weapon in the village. And so therefore, we are not in compliance with state statute on that aspect of it. And then lastly, or most recently in December of 2013, Act 71 was enacted, which allows for the use of bow and arrows during the hunting season within a municipality, and only allowed municipalities to put into place certain restrictions. Basically, they gave us 2 restrictions that were allowed to be put into place in order for people to hunt on their property within the municipality, and that's that we can restrict them to the direction of the projectile, basically, saying that they must shoot in a downward angle. And the other would be that they not be within, I want to make sure I get the feet or yards correct. I believe it's 100 feet. Carrie, do you remember it off the top?
I thought it was 100 yards.
100 yards? Okay, within 100 yards
wanna
of
read
a residence,
Yep.
without permission of that owner. And so our ordinance basically said there will be no hunting within the municipality except for those people that are part of the deer management program. And so really, in the interest of being able to enforce and not have bad ordinances on our books the Public Safety Committee put this forward with the help of Terry to reword and basically put us in compliance with state statute. It doesn't change anything related to the ordinance. It doesn't give additional, or let me rephrase, it doesn't restrict anything more than we currently had, with the exception of that hunting and putting into place those restrictions. But you still can't shoot BB guns, you can't shoot bow and arrow at a target, and all of those things were in place previously, and the Public Safety Committee decided to leave those in place because of a number of different items, but just wanted to basically bring us into compliance with state statute.
So in the village, if I have a slingshot, I put a rock in it, and
That
I
is-
pop it,
You cannot do that, it's prohibited.
it's prohibited.
Correct.
A slingshot.
Correct.
Well, yeah.
And it always has been, so there's no
Doesn't
change to
change
that.
You ever seen a 7-year-old with a slingshot? I'm being serious.
You know,
You can have windows knocked out everywhere.
yeah,
Yeah, I was that 7-year-old that way.
yeah. Why does that not surprise me?
And we are in a municipality. If you're in the country, it's a different perspective, but when you do have homes this close together, I think that's probably where that came from.
So what if a child had a BB gun, pump gun, and wanted to shoot cans in his backyard?
Prohibited.
Can't do it.
Nope.
Even though it's on his property.
Correct.
Couldn't shoot him with a slingshot.
Correct.
We don't find that a little overreaching?
Yeah, well, and then.
I mean, I do.
How about, the soft,
Can't do an airsoft.
airsoft, how about
Nerf
Nerf guns?
guns.
Nerf guns are different, I thought.
That's a
Is it
projectile
really-
that's fired from a,
Does it really meet the definition of discharging of a firearm?
no, it doesn't say firearm.
Sure it
It
does.
says shooting or throwing of arrows, pellets, or other missiles or projectiles are prohibited.
Says no person except an authorized police officer shall discharge any firearm. Right?
Reference, what section are you reading? from?
A, 70-4A, air or gas propelled rifle or pistol, archery bow, archery arrows, slingshot, or other article designed to propel any type of missile or projectile within the village limits, except as otherwise provided by law. For example, pursuant, and they give a statute. I personally, all right, my personal opinion,
Throw it out there.
it's a little overarching, right?
agree.
You mean to tell me a 7-year-old can't go in his backyard with a slingshot he gets at Christmas and start plucking beer cans that Dad drank?
My son was in town and was using a paintball when he was little and had a target up against a big shed. Went over the shed and hit the neighbor's window.
Yeah. You took care of it, didn't you?
Well, yeah, but
Right,
it's,
exactly. I
could've
think it's
broke the window.
personally, no offense, I think it's a little overarching.
Yeah, we can't use your kid's bad shot on that. I mean,
And I guess I'm not here defending that part of the ordinance, because
Yeah,
really it
no,
was
I
not
get it.
discussed at public safety.
And I understand it's
Just that
been in
wording.
there and I've always been opposed to it. Now it's come up, it's an opportunity for me to,
Actually, what's come up tonight is to do, well, the draft of the ordinance that I worked on was to make as little change to the ordinance as possible, except in those areas where we were totally out of compliance with state law. So my goal, and I think the Public Safety Committee's goal, was to just bring it up into compliance with state law. If there are other areas in there that the board feels in the existing ordinance that we didn't address at all, that the board feels should be addressed, that probably should go to back to public safety. But I would suggest that, at least for tonight, you bring your ordinances into compliance with state law.
And the thing I was, is go through there, if you start we reference state statute, and then state statute also, then you go to this one, then that one references another one, and that one references another one. And I frankly didn't have enough time to get through all the different statutes, because it's
Sure.
like, really? And again, because if we pass this as it's written, the Nerf guns, the soft, what is it called, Paul? What is those? The
airsoft.
airsofts?
Airsoft.
Those are illegal according to this, and
But that's not new.
that's
the
no,
way it
I
exists
realize
now.
that's not new.
So if you do
I
nothing
think
tonight,
common sense
that's
comes
still,
into play with a lot of this too.
That's still the case. If you do nothing tonight, that's still the case.
See
Right.
kids outside with Nerf guns, I don't think anyone's gonna.
So if we, how do we bring this up and still, in changes, or do we just wait a month and bring it up with different wording?
I think tonight, you're bringing up valid points, and I think my suggestion would be to shoot those back at the Public Safety Committee and have them review the ordinance, not for more than just bringing it into compliance with state law, but for other purposes. Are we overreaching, or are there valid public safety reasons to keep these things in place?
Okay, so.
So if we have no action on,
I would say it would be hard to rewrite the ordinance tonight.
To pass the law.
It would be very hard to rewrite the ordinance tonight, the parts that the public safety didn't review and didn't make suggestions to. You guys would be here all night kind of talking through that
Yeah,
wording and
Yeah,
everything.
no, it should,
yep,
and we should just recommend this go back to public safety for
You could do that.
Until the wording.
I will make a
And so-
comment that, I mean, it wasn't overlooked at the public safety meeting, that, I mean, there was discussion, and at that point, they were not interested in making any other change. I mean, there's two members of the Public Safety Committee here, our chair is not here, unfortunately, but, I mean, there was some discussion about it. I don't know if we hashed it over, or if they hashed it over, excuse me, as detailed as some of the members currently have.
I mean, the way our ordinances read right now, we prohibit concealed carry. Well, you can't prohibit concealed carry.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're out of compliance with state law. We're prohibiting hunting under certain circumstances where you can't do that. So what these amendments would do would be to bring those narrow areas where we're out of compliance into compliance, and would change nothing else.
Okay,
so do we recommend pushing it back to public safety to correct?
No, he wants you to pass
Section
this
A.
one, and then we go
Right.
back to public safety on our own.
That would be my recommendation, although, if you wait a month, it's not gonna make any difference.
Right.
Let it rest.
then if we
Yeah,
choose,
I
do
agree.
we have to write,
No,
change all the wording and then go back and change it all
No
again? Is
action
that
when
cost-
it's- if we
I
don't
think the
vote.
stuff that we change now is required,
Is what?
one way or the other.
I don't know. Our attorney said we don't follow the rules.
And if you want to do a big picture look
motion, Stan.
at all of these, I would recommend that go back to public safety. Although I wasn't at that public safety meeting, I mean, I guess Mark said they did discuss it.
There was some discussion, but, I
Yeah, we didn't.
take another
Well,
kick at it.
So,
If you don't
let's hear
pass
from the
this and
two
it go-
public safety
Yeah,
trustees that are on the,
We were just thinking more of bringing it up to compliance to state statute. We didn't
Yeah.
really cover the
broad
The
scope.
other-
Nerf,
broad
didn't cover
scope.
Nerf guns
No.
and airsoft?
We
or-
wanted to get it up to state statute because Mark had worked hard on getting it up that way,
Yeah.
and we need to get our stuff
I mean,
up to state statute. So that's what we concentrated on, and we didn't
Yeah.
really discuss the other.
If you don't pass this tonight, and you send it back to public safety and say that nothing comes back out of public safety, you're gonna be looking at the same thing again,
Yeah.
and it's gonna cost more paper and the whole process. Okay, if you pass this tonight, and then you need to go back to public safety and say, I really, these are our issues, then.
If you agree with it, pass it. If you don't, vote
but
against it.
those issues are
Or say nothing and it
state
doesn't
law
go
that
anywhere.
we're not in compliance with, though.
Right.
We haven't been in
Yeah, I'm-
compliance for a while.
Like you said, if you want to hash through
Right.
it tonight.
And you're not
we can-
alone.
But we
Right,
can't.
and we're not alone, our
We'll
attorney
stay here all
says.
night, but,
It's not on the agenda, though. We can't change
Right.
that.
exactly.
So, did we have an original motion, Melissa?
I'll move to
Almost.
accept the ordinance amending the municipal code for the Village of North Hudson, ordinance number 04-2014 as changed, or as proposed.
Mr. President, I request you start on this side of the vote.
We just have a motion, we
We
don't have a
just have a
second yet.
motion, we have to have a second.
Second,
There's a second?
Okay.
just to get to the vote.
Oh, you didn't second it?
Do we need,
You did second?
no, I did not second.
I'll second.
Okay. There is a motion and a second. Is there further discussion? And it's been requested to start on the right side of the room to my right. Paul?
No.
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 Yes.
Yes.
Okay, motion fails. And it'll go back to Public Works, or I mean, Public Safety, sorry about that.
Maybe a little direction.
Never mind. We'll
Was
talk
that
after.
the primary issue, was just the projectiles that they should look at, or what other, any other direction?
From my perspective, that's, and
you're
I
not
actually
gonna
did
change
read
the
through it, and I agree with the, leaving storing and loaded firearms within, I agree with all the rest of this, but I had an issue with that first section.
So the whole presumption of this going back to public safety is, what?
Is to address the projectiles, I mean, you could, if you use firearm or, I
Instead of a
mean,
lawyer coming up with a blanket statement, we come up with a more detailed statement.
Nerf gun, yes. Airsoft, no.
That's up to you.
Well-
He's on the board.
Rock,
in
no.
the committee.
Rock, tennis racket, no.
Ooh, tennis racket.
Didn't think about
Tennis
that.
racket, rock.
Yeah.
I mean, how far down the road do you want to go with a projectile?
Yeah, I think when this
Well,
was
can we,
written,
how about bow and arrow and firearm?
I know, but when
I think a very good point is this, though.
before the confusion, or before the next public safety meeting, obviously.
Right,
you know.
but I'm gonna give you a scenario and tell me how it happened. Chief's right there. Say two 13-year-olds are acting like
Got it.
troublemakers, and they're out there with their, these Nerf things that we have in our house. We pound at each other with them.
Sure.
They're outside. Hey, that's illegal. And technically, according to the way this thing reads, I would be breaking the law, screwing around with my 9 and 10-year-old out in the front
But you'd be
yard.
breaking the law in New Richmond, or Hammond, or,
Not
I don't know that. I
necessarily.
don't know what their ordinances are. I know what North Hudson's is. That's it.
Yeah, there is, it has been in different
so our
cities
goal,
where
our
people
goal
have
is
been
to,
arrested.
our goal is to go through and determine
It's not gonna be easy or
degrees
fun.
of projectiles.
Yeah, it's not gonna be easy or fun, but sign me to the board. I'll do it.
No, that's the committee, you're not, that's not the committee thing right now, but that one's done. Next item, 8, adoption ordinance 05-2014, amending chapter 38, fire prevention and protection, section 38-6, new methods and materials, approval requested. This is again to meet applicable state laws, I believe, so it's just getting us up to speed here, or I mean, up to.
Yeah, there were some changes to the state law with respect to the commercial building code. We don't really have any control over that anyway. We did not adopt in the past an ordinance where we would handle the commercial building code, and that's not something I'm real familiar with. Brian Wirt would really be the better one to address that. But with those changes, villages are not allowed to have any difference from the state law on the commercial building code, and we did have just a couple references in our ordinances about the commercial building code, so I just cleaned those up a little bit.
Okay. Okay, is there a motion to adopt ordinance 05-2014?
I'll move to adopt ordinance number 05, 2014.
Thank
An
you,
ordinance
Colleen.
amending the municipal code for the village of North Hudson, Wisconsin.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Carol. Any further discussion? Hearing none, it's an ordinance. Roderick?
Yes.
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 Okay, motion carries. Number 9, adoption of ordinance 06-2014, amending chapter 14, buildings and building regulations, section 14-26, state code adopted, section 14-28, Uniform Dwelling Code and Section 1466 Construction Standards Codes adopted, approval requested.
Driven by the same change in the state law, but this time, the difference is that we referred, this was again, just cleaning up the ordinance. There are no substantive changes. The Department of Commerce was abolished by the Walker administration a few years back, and so there is no more COM 20, COM this, COM that. Those duties have all been taken over by the Safety and Professional Services, the Department of Safety and Professional Services. So the new administration code is SBS, and the numbers changed a little bit, but they didn't actually change the codes themselves, so we've just updated the numbers.
And the titles of the prospective departments. Okay, is there a motion to adopt ordinance 6, 2014?
I'll move to adopt ordinance number 06, 2014, an ordinance amending the municipal code for the village of North Hudson, Wisconsin as written.
Thank you, Colleen. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Daryl. Further discussion? Again, it's just a matter of changing the names of the state departments. Okay, Roderick?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
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 Carried. Okay, this is, item number 10, amended class, parent class B liquor license, extended premises, Cozy Corner, 6th annual grand opening and beanbag tournament, Saturday, 19 July 2014. Approval requested. There a motion attached to this?
Sure. I'll move to approve the amended Class B liquor license for extended premises, Cozy Corner, 6th annual grand opening and beanbag tournament, Saturday, July 19th, 2014.
Thank you, Colleen. Is there a second?
With the conditions as recommended by the chief?
Yes, exactly.
Exactly what she said. That's what I heard.
I'll second.
Great, thanks, Ted. Discussion?
I have a question, Mr. President, concerning condition number 4. Let me preface that by saying I'm in favor of the request. I'm just concerned with condition number 4 and how that's able to be provided. It reads, owner to provide equal amount of adjacent substitute off-street parking while the parking lot is fenced during time of event. How can the owner invent a suitable amount of off-street parking? Can this be done?
Yeah, he laid asphalt in the back. He actually expanded it out by the dumpsters in the back there. That was back when we were there.
So they park net, to the east of the structure.
And if they have to, where the car show is and stuff like that.
Okay, I just didn't want to give them a condition that couldn't be met. It seemed,
Do you agree with that, Chief?
It's common between the several that do extended premises. I don't know if you all got that microphone.
I will go there.
That condition has been in place for several of the extended premises because a business, let's say Village Inn, who does the same type of request, they then contract or work out some sort of deal with Zappa Brothers, so there are, again, close parking spots that take up based on their, I don't know if it was conditional use back in the day or if it was, whatever their licensing was put into place that they must have so many parking spaces per, size. That condition was put into place to basically say, if you're gonna block off this many parking spaces, you need to find those spaces close by so that you have the same amount of access to your business.
right, I absolutely understand that and agree with it. My only point is that everything that you just said confirms the area that's going to be substituted is already being used for parking. So it's not like new parking is invented out of whole cloth.
No, when you
Not
drive
sure that I
back there,
follow.
people don't use it. No, what he's trying to say is that people are already using these parking spots, that they're fabricating and saying that they're gonna use as parking spots. They don't use them during, like, if you go there on a Friday night, say Friday night's their busiest night, they're not parking their cars between Muds and Suds, the car wash, on that road that they created, that Gary had laid. So when they do events like this, they're losing 1, 2, 3, 4 parking stalls, and they could easily take a can of paint and spray 4 stripes on that fabricated road that they created. So they could say those are those parking stalls that they lost because of their event.
And I think, Daryl, maybe to, now that I understand the statement a little bit more clear, if you look back at when Cozy Corner started business there, my belief, and based on this, is that they allocated a certain amount of spots, or they were requested to allocate a certain amount of spots. The new spots would not be in that original plan, and therefore they could be used as that alternate parking when they take away those 4 spots when they fence in that particular area. I don't know if that explains it better.
And the building also has allocated spots for the laundromat that they could say they're using, correct?
Probably not, because those would be allocated for the laundromat, but the other ones that you were discussing would be more appropriate, the ones on the backside, or parking in between the laundromat and the car wash.
Okay, well, again, my only point was that it's your condition.
That's been
You-
passed by the board several times, so
All
yes.
right,
it was-
we-
I am
we've
now
done
requesting
it,
that
we've done it
again.
in the past. I just
Wanna
don't
change it?
want
I
to
don't
give
have any
approval
heartburn.
to someone and give them a condition that's hard to meet. And as long as everybody's saying, this is no problem, they can easily do it, then fine.
Okay. So, motion's made and seconded. Any further discussion? Okay, Paul?
Yes.
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 Okay. Item number 11. New business from the board or staff. And President's comments first. The only comment I have is I hope everyone has a safe, happy Independence Day and holiday weekend. Administrator's comments.
Thank you. On your way out tonight, there are binders in the back conference room for everyone. I want you to take a look at it over the next month, and it'll be on the next month's agenda. I'm not asking for any approval, any discussion. It's a board packet for new board members, and just to kind of help bring somebody up to speed a little quicker than being here 6 months and not seeing something, or seeing something for the first time. So I'm hoping it'll be a very good thing.
Education.
And then the second thing is, we've had a couple of residents stop in concerned about a letter they're getting from a place called Home Serve, wanting to send that, or sell them insurance for their water service line. They are asking if it's village, if it's coming from the village, and it is not. I'm not saying whether it's a valid business or not. I'm just saying that it's not coming from the village. It's not generated through here. And the third item is that we will be starting on our new budget process. So make sure that all the committee chairs see the budget on their agendas coming up in the next few months. And all department heads have their budget packets at this point, so that's it.
Thank you. Melissa, anything from the village clerk?
Just to let everybody know, the assessors with Bomar Appraisals have started their process of going back out into the village again, since the colder weather is over. So they're visiting homes again. I've gotten a lot of calls of people wondering who they are, things like that. So they'll be out in the neighborhoods, visiting homes, and they should have, or they will have, identification with them that you can ask them for. That's all I got.
Thank you. Item number 12, Plan Commission recommendations. I don't believe Plan Commission met. Item 13, Personal Finance The Personnel and Finance Committee recommendations, claims and approvals requested. I will make the motion to Finance Committee recommends the board approval of the June 2014 non-recurring claims totaling $32,146.06. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Colleen. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, it's a spending issue. Roderick?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
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 Thank you. Second item is part-time seasonal public works job description approval requested. This is, is there a motion to approve the seasonal help job description?
To approve the part-time temporary seasonal help position.
Considering he's already working.
Thank you, Colleen. Is there a second?
Second.
Ted, thank you, Ted. Any further discussion?
How's he working out?
Yep. No problem. Still learning a lot of stuff that's new, so.
It's good. Okay, this is, any further discussion? All in favor of, the approving the, motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, that's all that's on there. Next item on the agenda should be, let's see, Public Works.
Mr. President, Public Works did meet. We have several suggested motions for tonight. The first being the crack filling bids approval. I would motion to recommend having Scott Construction Incorporated crack fill 31 streets listed on the proposal at a cost not to exceed $22,355. The second point to this motion would be to recommend moving $7,355 from the seal coating budget line item to the crack filling budget line item to cover the overage needed.
Thank you, Ted. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Paul or Daryl. Second and third, everybody's gonna fix the rest. Okay, further discussion. Looks like everybody's happy that we are going to work on our roads so they don't end up like Hudson.
Yes.
And Paul started us out with a yes. Ted?
Yes.
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 Okay, crack filling.
Mr. President, moving on to hot patching bids, I would motion to recommend having Perfection Paving Company hot patch 29 areas of streets listed on the proposal at a cost not to exceed $10,594. Further, I would recommend moving $594 from the seal coating budget line item to the hot patch budget line item to cover the overage needed.
Thank you, Ted.
Second.
Is there a second to Daryl?
Yes, it
Second,
was.
Daryl, thank you. Discussion? Big gaping hot patch is going to commence. Roderick?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And what's the last one on your list?
Finally, Mr. President, the seal coating, I would make the suggested motion and recommend that the village administrator transfer $38,000 from the unassigned fund to the Public Works Highway and Street Maintenance accounts to cover seal coating expenses and to amend the 2014 budget.
Second.
So
Further discussion?
Gloria, I don't know
Should
if
have
you
done it
want.
last year.
No,
Oh, do you want me to?
it's up to you.
After the audit has come in and I now know the numbers that we need for completing the project, looking at it, the unassigned funds, and staying with our policy between 20 and 25% of the projected expenditures, we are able to pull out 38,000, add it with the 7 that's already in there, and have 45,000 to allow for the seal coating of the streets as recommended by the Public Works Director.
Mr. President, I'd make 2 points. I think this is a prudent move for 2 reasons. One, it will get us back on the path toward catching up. We are 4 to 5 years behind on our seal coating, and we just cannot continue to do that. So that, it's prudent from that standpoint. It's also, in my view, prudent not to borrow the funds, and I'm pleased that we're able to move the money from unassigned. I'd like the record to show that in Public Works, when we discussed this, we did not discuss a loan, and we're not coming here recommending that there be a loan. We wanted to bring to the attention of the full board the fact that we could not continue to hot patch and crack fill and then not seal coat and continue to fall farther and farther behind. So I am pleased with this process, and I will be pleased to support this motion.
I concur.
Thank you. Any further discussion? I'd like to thank Gloria for finding money again and not causing, possible loans and/or other, but the loan, for maintenance items, we just need the budget for that, so.
Yes.
Paul says yes.
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 And
Okay.
then finally, Mr. President, we have one more suggested motion,
Really?
and that is to move to have
Okay.
Farner Asphalt Sealers seal coat the 4 streets recommended at a cost not to exceed $45,000.
Thank you, Ted. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Daryl. Any further discussion? The bid is at 42,000. With the juggling of the numbers and I wasn't sure what the bid was when I first talked to Gloria about finding the money. So we just made it up to 45,000 so that we'll have, in case there are unseen or something, other conditions, so, any other discussion? Roderick?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
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 The streets, back in the streets, thank you. Public Works, Public Safety, the chair is not here.
There's nothing else other than what was already discussed.
Okay,
And
thank
they do
you.
have a new,
That,
there is a new PD administrative assistant that started on June 2nd, Gina Gross.
thank you. Next on the agenda, Public Welfare.
Public welfare did not meet.
Thank you, Paul. And number 17, Park Board Committee recommendations.
We did meet, and just a couple things. We've got the signs, as you see in front of you. When we had built the park, Chief Jantz Memorial Park, it's kind of our premier park, and it was discussed to use some of the funds from the Derrick development to have signs put up that would help people find that park. However, that money could not be used for signs, so we would like to take get the signs from the park board maintenance, or the park maintenance fund, and it's the one with the check. So we'd move to purchase 4 directional signs for Chief Jansen Memorial Park not to exceed $285 from TAPCO with funds coming from the park maintenance fund.
Well, during Finance Committee, the motion to approve that request failed for lack of a motion. We did not have any of the members of Finance Committee did not see a reason to put signs up for that particular park when there are no signs for any of the other parks in the village. I don't know how many we have. We have, there's directions and there's maps on the website and discussion with the staff. We haven't had a large amount of phone calls or questions or inquiries on where that particular park is, so there was no motion from finance to recommend.
Okay.
Let's see, anything else there? The only thing left in the item or agenda is,
I wasn't finished.
okay, oh, I'm sorry, I mean, I just, all I saw is directional signs.
No, it's still my chair update.
Huh?
I still have my chair
Oh, okay.
update.
Let's keep it normal.
As part of the Riverfest week, Paul Burchett, who's had requested from River Valley Trails to have a bike ride through, going from Lakefront Park through North Hudson, and on to the new river crossing as a kind of informational ride. And they, Weber's talked to Chief Richard, and we decided that we did not need board approval since we're not asking for road closures. The ride will be on Sunday, July 13th, with registration from 8:30 to 9:30. There's no fee required. It'll be guided. But Mark had said that the police in North Hudson can help with the crossing of 35, just to make that a little safer. And what we were thinking of is going, crossing the bridge, going down Wisconsin Street to Galahad, and then into Ferry Landing Park, having a little presentation, and then back up Summer Street, cross 35, go north to the new river crossing, and then to Holton, where there'll be more information. And then also, coming back, going down 4th Street, and then can show that park too, just to try to get people aware of the bike routes, along with the county parks and the new river crossing that could have a lot of potential for coming into North Hudson. And then also, we'll probably also discuss the potential of, long-range plan, granted it could be way in the future, of getting the railroad property to make it even safer and more family-friendly getting from North Hudson, or from Hudson all the way to the Stillwater Bridge. And anyone is welcome. Actually, they prefer just 16 years old and above, since it is more informational and not just a family ride.
Right. That's Summer Street Hill, man.
Okay, thank you, Colleen. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, last item on the agenda is adjournment. So, let us show that the board is adjourned at 8:10. Thank you, everyone.
Did anybody take any heat off that tablet thing? I did.
What tablet thing?